2020 was an interesting year, to put it lightly. But amongst all the negatives and amongst all the chaos, I'm really thankful that there was also a bunch of positives that came out of it for me. And I think in the first few weeks of a new year comes an amazing opportunity to not only look forward to the future, but also look backwards and reflect on what happened in the year past. I do want to say a huge thank you to Reflectly, the world's first intelligent journaling app, for sponsoring this video. Reflectly is a journaling app that uses artificial intelligence to help you structure and reflect upon your daily thoughts and problems. It lets you do these awesome daily check-ins that help you keep track of your mood and also reflect on why you feel the way you do at any given point. It is genuinely an awesome way to journal on the go and is definitely the app that I recommend most to people, especially if they are starting out in journaling or they haven't really found their feet in it yet. Since I personally stopped bullet journaling last year, I've been using Reflectly as a quick, easy and on-the-go solution to all my journaling needs. It just kind of helps me check in with myself and it is honestly great. Also, my favorite relatively new addition to Reflectly is with the iOS 14 update. There's now this great option to add a Reflectly widget to your home screen, which pops personalized motivational quotes up for you throughout the day. It's genuinely great. Every day I'm just scrolling and I see a motivational quote and I'm like, let's do this. I've popped a link down below if you want to check it out. And again, a huge thank you to Reflectly for sponsoring this video. So looking back on last year, there was loads of different things that I learned, and I wanted to share 5 of those things with you guys. So the first, and I would say probably the biggest lesson that I learned in 2020, was that opportunities only really come to you when you go looking for them. I spent most of the middle part of 2020 not really doing much. Like a lot of people, I found myself without a job, without most of the things that I enjoyed doing on a daily basis, and spending a lot of time just on my lonesome. So after about a month or so of just sitting at home and not really doing anything, I decided to start this channel. Now with that came a whole bunch of new opportunities, and also I learned a whole bunch of new skills. Skills like making and editing videos, skills like working with different companies and different brands. And I also just gave myself the opportunity to share my content and share, I guess, my views a little bit with people who seem to actually care about them. You guys. But other than starting my channel, there was obviously one huge opportunity that I took a little bit later in the year, which was moving to Canada. Honestly, this whole adventure so far has already been life-changing for me. And I think it's kind of barely even started yet. Now, of course, over the past 2 months, I've had loads of people say lots of different things to me, a lot of them very positive, but I have had the odd person saying things like, "That's really lucky for you," or "Oh, you got lucky there." But I disagree with this. I actually don't think there was a huge amount of luck involved. I think it's fair to say that I worked pretty hard for years to get to where I am today in terms of my performing. You know, I have died on a stage in front of hundreds of people before. I've done all the rubbish gigs in tiny little basements of bars. I've pushed myself and my abilities over the years and put myself in different situations so I could learn from them. And all of that has led up to this opportunity. But even then, I found this opportunity. I spent like 3 days pulling together an application and making it look the best that I possibly could and sending it off. And then I got the job. And actually, if you want to go back even further and delve deeper into this, I actually opened myself up to this opportunity by starting off the process of applying for a visa to move to Canada almost 2 years ago. Real, meaningful opportunities only really tend to come to you if you open yourself up to them and you look for them, and also if you work hard for them. After all, there is a reason, they say, that the harder you work, the luckier you seem to become. Let me know in the comments if there's an opportunity that you found recently, maybe in the past year or so, that you maybe wouldn't have found had you not gone looking for it. Genuinely interested to hear them. Okay, so the second big lesson that I think I learned in 2020 was that you should leap and let the net appear. Now, when I say let the net appear, I don't mean literally let it, you have to make the net appear. But taking the opportunity to move to another country and start this new job was a huge leap of faith for me. And I'm not gonna lie, I was totally terrified at first. In one sense, everything happened so fast back in November that I didn't really have time to stop and worry about it too much. But each individual step of the way, I did find little doubts creeping into my head a little bit. You know, I was thinking things like, is this the right decision? Am I doing this at the right time? What if it all doesn't go to plan and it falls apart and I just fail miserably and have to go home with my tail between my legs? But you know what? Sometimes you just have to trust your gut, trust yourself, and just kind of go for it. You've got to kind of trust that you'll land on your feet and that it'll all kind of work out like it's supposed to, as long as you do everything in your power to make that happen. Speaking of taking the leap, why not take a little leap yourself and hit that big red subscribe button down below? Who knows? Maybe some sort of net will appear. I mean, Hopefully not, that would be absolutely terrifying. Unless you live with the child catcher. Remember the child catcher? That guy was genuinely terrifying. That was a kid's movie. Anyway, lesson number 3 that I learned from 2020 was that focusing on yourself is absolutely key to everything. Now this lesson does come in many different shapes and forms, but for me specifically in 2020, this lesson definitely came in the form of me physically getting a bit better into shape. And although I'm not quite He-Man levels yet, I am definitely in the best shape I've been for probably a decade. Now I know I already made a video about my 5K everyday challenge and how this was really the thing that kicked all this off for me, but the benefits of trying to stay active and trying to eat healthily really can be seen in all aspects of my life. Definitely not just my physical body. I'm more confident, I have more energy to tackle challenges and tasks, I'm more motivated to go out and do things, and all of this kind of compiles to one unavoidable fact that staying healthy really is the key to everything. Now obviously, as well as your physical health, it is super important to take care of your mental well-being as well. And I know that today's sponsor, Reflectly, can really help with that as a great way to track how you feel and a great way to learn from that too. Things like journaling, meditation, and spending time doing the things that I enjoy doing are all kind of ways that I've helped keep my mental health in check this year. But there are plenty of resources online if you need help in this area too. I'll link some of them down below. Now lesson number 4 from last year is something that I maybe didn't expect to learn, and that's to stand up for your beliefs. Now obviously there has been huge controversy this year in a massive range of truly diverse areas. You know, I won't go into them here because that's not what this video is about, but we all know the kinds of things that I'm talking about. But because of all these things, I do think this has kind of been a year where people have started to stand up for themselves a little bit, to stand up for their beliefs and to stand up for what's right in the world. I think for me as a teenager and even like as a young adult, I used to believe that politics and beliefs should kind of be left at the door. That you shouldn't really let them affect your life or your relationships. But actually looking back, I don't think I could have been more wrong about that. Your views on politics are all about how you see the world and how you think the world should be. How you think people should be treated, how you think we should coexist as people. And if you disagree with that on someone, then you really should say so. Now obviously I also think that the caveat to this is that you should also be ready and willing to kind of wave the white flag and admit when you were wrong, especially if you actually change your mind for whatever reason. Or of course, if the facts disagree with you. And overall, I think I like to think that I'm pretty good at this. At being able to change my views and opinions quite fluidly and also being open to other people's viewpoints. But I do also know that I can be pretty stubborn at times, so I know that this is something that I definitely want to improve on for the future. At the end of the day, again, it is a little bit of a cliche, but we're all on this planet together. And I really believe that it is our individual responsibility to just kind of make it the best place it can be for one another. And while we're at it, for God's sake, hold your democratically elected politicians accountable. Oh my God, try and say that sentence after a couple of drinks. And last but not least, the 5th big lesson that I learned in 2020 was that what other people think really doesn't matter. Now hear me out on this one, because again, I totally understand it's a little bit of a kind of high school cliche, but to be honest, this year has really proved this to me, and it's kind of the final nail in the coffin for this idea. In the past, for me, being worried about what other people think of me has held me back and stopped me from doing so many of the things that I've wanted to do. In fact, a couple of years ago, this worry had me so paranoid and so stressed out that I actually nearly didn't take my last job because of it, for no other reason than being slightly worried what 4 or 5 specific people might think of me. How wildly mind-blowing is that? That I might not have done something which would have made me a better person, have been fun, and made me happy just because of what someone else thinks inside their own head. More recently again, I've started posting more content online, like my YouTube videos, my TikTok videos, things like that. Something which I've always been interested in, always kind of wanted to do, but again, didn't do because I was worried about what people might say about them behind my back. But you know what? Who cares? As far as I'm concerned, people can sit around and gossip and grumble all day, every day. But at the end of the day, I enjoy it, it makes me happy, so I'm gonna do it regardless. If there is one thing that you take away from this entire video, heck, this entire channel, please let it be this. If there's something you want to do but you're not doing it purely for fear of what others might think, please, please, please do it. It doesn't matter how big or small this thing is. It doesn't matter if you just want to join a club or society, or you want to start a hobby that you think someone might think is a little bit weird. It doesn't matter if you want to start posting videos online of you belting your lungs out to Love Story by Taylor Swift, but you're slightly worried if people will think it's good or not. If you want to do it and it's going to make you happier or even a better person, just do it. You know, I share these 5 lessons that I learned last year in the hope that 1 or 2 of you maybe pick something up from it and learn something from it too. Folks, if you did learn anything or you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for me. It does genuinely help. If you like this sort of thing in general, then maybe consider hitting the big red subscribe button for me too. As always, stay awesome, and I will see you in the next one.